So it's your testimony that no one was diverted from a criminal matter, that this was a top priority to go through this material to look for Mr. Trump's name. Is that your testimony? That's the highest priority for the FBI?
What's one of the most impressive things about the FBI leadership and the careers that are in place is that they make the decisions on who to send where on priorities and make sure the mission needs are not hurt. And that's what happened here.
So are you asserting under oath that no investigative work was interrupted, that no cases were sidelined, and that combing through these records for references to Donald Trump stood at the very top of the Bureau's agenda? Is that truly the position you're taking? That this represents the FBI's most urgent focus? What distinguishes FBI leadership, as we've seen over decades, is their ability to allocate personnel strategically, ensuring that operational demands are met without compromising broader objectives. And according to you, that standard held firm here. On September 17, 2025, FBI Director Kash Patel sat before the House Judiciary Committee. It marked his first formal oversight appearance in the House since assuming office earlier that year. Throughout the morning, he fielded inquiries on violent crime data, the investigation into Charlie Kirk's killing, and the handling of Epstein-related materials.
Mr. Chairman, I'm concerned by reports that FBI agents have been diverted from their important work on crime and anti-terrorism to work on matters that are not critical to our safety. I'd like to play the video, the whole video.
Jeffrey
clip.
Epstein's
Black Book?
Black Book.
FBI.
But who? That is, I mean, there's...
Oh, that's under direct control of the director of the FBI.
So, but the Black Book, it's not just sitting, I mean, that's Hoover power times 10.
And to me, that's a thing I think President Trump should run on. On day one, roll out the Black Book.
In contrast to that attitude of let it all out, we're getting reports of actions that run contrary to getting everything out and that also involve diversions of FBI resources. For example, an FBI whistleblower reported that you were pressured by the Attorney General to place 1,000 personnel on 24-hour shifts to mine roughly 100,000 Epstein-related records to redact President Trump's name from the files. Bloomberg reported this, that you directed FBI special agents from the New York and Washington field offices to join the Bureau's FOIA employees in Winchester and another building a few miles away, and that while reviewing the Epstein files, FBI personnel identified numerous references to Trump in the documents, and people familiar with the matter said that Trump's name, along with other high-profile individuals, was blacked out. Now, the New York Times reports, and this is a quote, Justice Department officials diverted hundreds of FBI employees and federal prosecutors from their regular duties to go through the documents at least 4 times, including once to flag any references to Mr. Trump and other prominent figures. Details of the review were based on accounts by 3 former FBI and Justice Department officials who spoke on condition of anonymity because of fears of retaliation, and further that the FBI finished, after they finished its review of the files and materials, was sent to a team of Justice Department lawyers who double-checked the FBI's redactions and, quote, were instructed to flag any mentions of Mr. Trump and other celebrities. Now, I have 3 questions for you, Mr. Patel, about this. First, how many times did President Trump's name appear in the Epstein files? Was it more than 100, more than 1,000? Were the agents who were pulled from their duties to redact the president's name from the Epstein files working on criminal cases or national security cases or child sex trafficking cases? And are the number of agents that have been reported diverted for these purposes, is that accurate?
No.
No what?
You asked if it was accurate. I said it wasn't.
So you're saying that none of this happened?
No, I'm saying it was inaccurate.
Okay. How many times did President Trump appear in the Epstein files? More than 100? More than 1,000?
No, and what we've been able to release is what we've been legally able to release, and that has...
No, that's not the question. I asked you, how many times did the president's name appear?
I don't know.
It's your testimony. You do not know that
The
answer.
number of times? No.
Could you tell us how many agents were diverted for this task and what they were working on?
When you say diverted, you make it seem as if agents were pulled off what they do all the time. Agents at the FBI masterfully do double duty and triple duty. And because of the public's interest in this case, we flex resources to make sure that we could answer the public's signal demand. So do you want us to look through the material and provide it to you, or you do not want us to do that?
So it's
Which
your testimony that no one was diverted from a criminal matter, that this was a top priority to go through this material to look for Mr. Trump's name. Is that your testimony? That's the highest priority for the FBI?
What's one of the most impressive things about the FBI leadership and the careers that are in place is that they make the decisions on who to send where on priorities and make sure the mission needs are not hurt. And that's what happened here.
It's shocking to me that the FBI would think that erasing Mr. Trump's name from the Epstein files is a high priority when we have crime, we have national security threats, we have terrorism threats, we have murders such as that occurred, unfortunately, with Mr. Kirk. It's shocking to hear that that's your highest priority. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I
That's
yield
literally
back.
not what I said.
So, are you asserting under oath that no investigative work was interrupted, that no cases were sidelined, and that combing through these records for references to Donald Trump stood at the very top of the Bureau's agenda? Is that truly the position you're taking? That this represents the FBI's most urgent focus? What distinguishes FBI leadership, as we've seen over decades, is their ability to allocate personnel strategically, ensuring that operational demands are met without compromising broader objectives. And according to you, that standard held firm here.
Lofgren contrasted that earlier stance, one of full disclosure, with recent reports indicating the opposite: suppression, redaction, and resource diversion. She cited a whistleblower account alleging that the Attorney General pressured Patel to deploy roughly 1,000 FBI staff on continuous shifts to sift through approximately 100,000 Epstein-related documents, specifically to remove references to President Trump. She then referenced reporting from Bloomberg, which claimed Patel had reassigned agents from major field offices in New York and Washington to assist teams in Winchester, Virginia, reviewing those same files. According to individuals familiar with the process, numerous mentions of Trump were discovered and subsequently concealed. Further, she quoted the New York Times, which reported that Justice Department officials redirected hundreds of FBI agents and federal prosecutors from their usual duties to examine the files multiple times, including a pass dedicated solely to identifying references to Trump and other notable figures. Afterward, DOJ attorneys reportedly conducted an additional review, again instructed to isolate such mentions. Then she turned to Patel directly. I have 3 questions. First, how often does Donald Trump's name appear in those documents? Are we talking hundreds of instances? Thousands? Second, the agents assigned to this task, were they originally working on criminal investigations, national security matters, or human trafficking cases? Third, are the reported figures about personnel reassignment accurate? Patel's initial reply? No. No, meaning what? She pressed. That the reports are inaccurate, he clarified. So none of this occurred? Not exactly, he said, just that the reporting wasn't correct. She returned to her first question. How many times does Trump's name appear? Patel answered, I don't know.
You don't know? She repeated. That is your testimony? Correct, he said. 0 awareness of the number? That's right. She moved on. How many agents were reassigned? What were they working on beforehand? Patel resisted the premise. Reassigned suggests disruption, he argued. FBI personnel routinely juggle multiple responsibilities. Resources are adjusted dynamically. Given the public's intense interest in this matter, the Bureau adapted accordingly to meet expectations. So, she asked plainly, are you saying no active cases were affected? He replied, no cases were compromised. Then he added something significant. This effort, reviewing Epstein-related material for references to Trump, was considered a top priority. Not implied, not inferred, explicitly stated in response to a direct question.
Lofgren reacted with visible disbelief. She noted the gravity of ongoing threats, violent crime, national security risks, terrorism, and recent tragedies like the murder of Charlie Kirk. Against that backdrop, prioritizing the removal of a political figure's name from sensitive files seemed to her deeply troubling. Patel countered that she was misrepresenting his words. She wasn't. Let's break down what unfolded, because the exchange deserves closer scrutiny than it received in that room. Lofgren presented 3 concrete claims, each backed by identifiable sources: a whistleblower account submitted to Congress, a report from Bloomberg, another from the New York Times, all pointed to the same conclusion. Significant manpower was directed toward reviewing Epstein documents, with a specific focus on identifying and redacting references to Donald Trump. Her first question was straightforward. How frequently does Trump's name appear in these files? Patel's answer? He didn't know. Consider that. The head of the FBI, who had stated he personally reviewed the Epstein materials, who had spent days emphasizing transparency, could not provide even a rough estimate of how often the sitting president appeared in those documents. These are the same files reportedly examined by over 1,000 personnel working around the clock, and yet, no number. Her second question addressed resource allocation. Were agents pulled from active cases? Patel reframed again. He spoke of flexibility, multitasking, responsiveness to public demand. But when pressed directly, were any investigations paused? He said no. Then came the key admission. This operation was a top-tier priority. Not secondary, not routine, a primary focus. Lofgren responded calmly but firmly. She found it astonishing that such an effort would rank so highly when the nation faces ongoing threats across multiple fronts. Patel insisted she misunderstood. The official transcript tells a different story. Here's what the record shows. The FBI director cannot say how many times the president's name appears in the Epstein files. More than 1,000 personnel were assigned to review those files continuously. Their task included identifying references to Trump. This assignment, by Patel's own statement, was treated as a top priority. And the July 7 memo, unsigned, issued jointly by the DOJ and FBI, declaring no incriminating client list existed, came only after that review.
Before taking office, Patel had claimed the Epstein list remained hidden solely because of the powerful individuals named within it. He said it was under his control. He promised transparency, no omissions, no cover-ups, no unanswered questions. Now, he cannot provide a number. The memo lacks a signature, and redacting the president's name was elevated to the highest level of importance. This isn't interpretation. This is what the record reflects. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button